Now, we all have those friends, the type of friends who you go up to and you're talking to them about your life, maybe you're catching up, and you let them in on something you're struggling with in life. Now, it might be a relationship issue, it might be something to do with business, and you can tell that that person, all they're trying to do is basically just give you advice. And so the moment you open up to them, they reply by saying, hey, why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you respond this way the next time that person says something to you? And then in the back of your mind, you're just like, dude, please shut the hell up. All I'm trying to do is have a chat to you, and I just want you to listen. Now, if you take that example and you apply it to social media, the same thing is happening every single time you try and post educational content onto things like Instagram. It's exactly like you giving unsolicited advice to people who are most probably just trying to zone out and just be entertained a little bit, just to sit down, take their mind off the worries of the day. Or they're just sitting on the toilet and they're looking for a simple laugh. I know that's what I do often. And this is the exact reason that social media is not designed to be your only source of marketing. And if it is, you've got a problem, because your clients, and the majority of them, are not going to be receptive to your messaging. See, marketing at its core has always been about three things: attracting, nurturing, and converting your ideal clients into paying customers. Now, I've been in this game for the past 10 years, and I can tell you that social media is really, really great for attracting and converting clients, but it is terrible now at nurturing them, because it all comes down to one fundamental truth, and that is that people do not scroll to learn anymore. They scroll to be entertained. Now, you might have noticed that some creators do something quite smart, and that is actually transferring people from platforms like Instagram and TikTok to platforms like YouTube, where they can nurture their customers with long-form content that actually takes their customers on a long-term journey. But I want to let you in on a little secret. YouTube is no longer the king of nurturing content, and that's basically what we're going to be diving into in this video, and how you can prepare for 2026 to make sure you are ahead of the curve. And so the goal really for any business who wants to leverage the internet for marketing is to have a place that exists away from social media, away from the noise, that people can go to and consume your evergreen content over time. And that's truly where the nurturing journey starts. Now, I said earlier that YouTube was not the best place to do this anymore. And there's three reasons behind that. The first reason is your competitors are literally going to be recommended right beside you. So, right next to this video that you're watching right now is likely that there's a big competitor or someone who has a way bigger audience than me that's going to have their content recommended to you on a silver platter. So oftentimes the effort I put into my content on YouTube is actually going to benefit my competitors just as much. The second is it's incredibly hard to actually stand out. And so you're operating in a very, very saturated market where there are millions of creators all vying for the same small pool of customers. So it becomes very difficult to actually convey your brand's uniqueness. The third is that people oftentimes stay in the same state as before consuming your content, which means it's very difficult to actually get into the brain or the mind of your customer and help them actually unlock tangible benefits. So to summarize, being on YouTube, again, you are actually taking the position of an entertainer, and there's nothing wrong with that inherently. Remember, it's about attracting, converting, and those are really, really important steps that social media helps you unlock. But if you want to take your nurturing of your customers to a new level, and that's where you have to build your own set of evergreen content away from the noise of social media. You've got to be able to take them from social media and bring them somewhere else, somewhere that you own and somewhere that you can control the cadence of how they are consuming your media. Now, we've tried YouTube for some of our biggest clients, and we have always come unstuck because of these three problems. One of them, we scaled from 8K followers to 300,000 followers, and then eventually onto 1 million followers. But that exponential growth did not relate to exponential revenue. So we decided to try a completely different approach, which was to build a simple website following a basic structure and simple rules. First, we created their nurturing content, which was a long form, evergreen piece of content and took the customer and the viewer on a long journey of understanding the brand's vision, mission, values, the people it's helped, the story that the brand is actually telling. And we placed that on the top of their website that has literally been there for the last 3 years now, nurturing customers on autopilot. To add to that evergreen piece of content, we also condensed it to a series of articles that people could binge read over time in a condensed format that kept people inside of their brand's ecosystem. And over time, this method started to compound and their revenue finally started to mirror the exponential growth they achieved on social media. So you can look at it this way. We helped them master the attention grabbing side of things, and then we shifted them into this rich ecosystem of evergreen content that they were able to binge watch over time on autopilot. And again, that is just a period of time and we took them down a conveyor belt so that they became people who were not necessarily ready to buy to people who were ready to buy. You can think of it this way. At any given time, there are always 98% of people who are not ready to buy from you. But there are 2% of people in the market who are. And so your job is to create a system that takes that 98% and nurtures them like a conveyor belt until they become that 2%. And that's the beauty of nurturing content and automations. Now, this form of a website is not only there to close the nurturing gap, but it also attracts clients from all over the internet through SEO and GEO, and also converts clients through automations. This is what we call building a digital home. A digital home is a place outside of social media where people enter out of curiosity but leave as customers. This is a system that has proved itself with multiple brands, customers, creators, coaches, freelancers who all now enjoy more time as a result of the automations that are producing this content, keeping everything in a clean ecosystem that they own. And so over the months, we've distilled this into an easily digestible, easy to execute, step-by-step plan that you can simply copy and get your digital home up and running in 21 days or less. So check it out if you want. It's linked in the description. Goodbye, my friend.